everybody. Welcome to Radio Dead Air Tech Q&A. You've got questions. We've got guesses. I'm Nash. I've been doing Radio Dead Air for ages, but in addition to that, I'm also an IT professional. With me, as always, my producer, Mike Gehrman, who also works in IT. If you've got tech questions for Mike and myself, by all means, send those to requests@radiodeadair.com, and we will help you with those. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, put it in the comments, the YouTube channel. And hi, Mike. How you doing?
Oh, I'm fine. I had a thing at work.
You had a thing?
So,
was it a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a made Mike grumpy thing.
Okay.
One of my non-immediate coworkers comes to me and says, "Hey, Mike, I volunteered for something." I'm already anxious by that because they volunteered for something and immediately came to see me. And they said, "I need this equipment to support the thing I volunteered for." Okay. And it wasn't particularly bad. I had to borrow some of the equipment from someone else. But between that meeting and 3 hours later, their equipment list doubled.
Okay.
And then, for the actual thing, I take all the stuff down to where it's supposed to go. I set it all up. The person who volunteered is nowhere around. I have to run power all the way to the space, extension cords. The person who volunteered is nowhere around. When the event is over, I go down. The person who volunteered is nowhere around. So I pack up everything and I leave. I'm beginning to think I was volunteered for something.
Okay.
They tried to put a smiley face on it, saying, "Oh, Mike, you can help me, right?"
A little tiny interest group in frickin' Australia has managed to throw global trade on the largest gaming platforms up in the flippin' air over this past week. They call themselves a bunch of dicks is what they call themselves. No, they call themselves, they call it the collective shout that they have.
And apparently 100 of them got together and have now shut off certain features in various sites that are LGBTQ friendly. And
what they've done is they've leaned on MasterCard, Visa, PayPal, and other payment processors. And they've tried to they have forced Steam and itch.io to delist a whole bunch of quote unquote adult content. Now, regardless of how you feel about it, like they've anything that's regarded to rape or incest or other talking about sexual now, but that also includes games that discuss sexual assault as the point of the game or other sort of things. No matter how you feel about that stuff, if it doesn't matter. A payment processor should not get the ability to say, "No, you can't have that on your site," because they're a payment processor. But this has gone against Steam, certain kinds of adult content. And as usual with groups when stuff like this happens, the platforms always go overboard and they shut down everything that could possibly offend anyone for any fucking reason, which in this case includes the existence of anyone who is not cisgendered or straight.
Yes. Now, fortunately, the internet seems to be reacting to this rather more strongly than the collective shout people likely anticipated. Visa and MasterCard's phone lines, which is, by the way, how we here at Radio Dead Air recommend you contact them, are getting a little overwhelmed with all the calls, to the point where some of the customer service people are asking, are you calling about this? And then trying to pawn you off on the email. Don't be pawned off on the email. The reason you shouldn't be pawned off on the email is because while they may count the number of emails that come in with certain keywords, they will very quickly filter stuff out and probably not read it and just have a count.
No, you got to call them and ruin their day.
Well, okay, so let me change what Nash just said there about ruin their day. Be polite to the customer service people. They are not the decision makers in this. They are the people who are probably contracted out to do this for Visa and MasterCard. May fully well agree. And if you don't know the numbers to call, what I recommend you do is you get on Blue Sky, and if it's still in trending topics, look there. And if it's not, just do a search on MasterCard, and you will find the numbers pretty trivially.
Well, actually, I have a better idea for that. There's a very simple website you can go to. It's called yellat.money. Very simple. I'll put the link in the channel, yellat.money. If you go there, there's a list of all the instructions you could hope to find to deal with this stuff, all the phone numbers. This includes Stripe, MasterCard, Visa, and PayPal. Their emails, their phone numbers, their mailing address, which when they start getting letters, they start getting scared. I don't know why, but when they start getting physical letters, they start getting freaking scared.
It's because physical letters take more time and effort. It's very easy to pick up a phone and make a call. It's trivial, of course, as we know, to send an email. Anyone who's worked in an office environment knows exactly how trivial it is to send an email. But the physical letter, you've got to write the letter. Then maybe you've got to print the letter, depending on if you're using a computer. You've got to put that in an envelope, stamp it, address it, and walk it down to the mailbox. That is more effort than many people are willing to make on things. So if they start getting a number of these, they go, uh-oh, people are pissed.
There's also specific instructions if you're in Australia, because this group is based in Australia, and they may be in violation of their charity status and other issues like that. So you could complain to file a concern over it with the government there.
One of the things I saw, and I did not note, because I was out running errands, and while I was waiting at one of the errands, I was reading Blue Sky, as you do. And I saw someone say that the reason that this collective shout group mailed or directly was contacting these payment processors is because large chunks of the Australian government told them, this is not really a thing. Stop bothering us.
So in any event, this is a problem. This has happened before. This will happen again. We have surrendered our right to decide what we are and are not allowed to buy, what we are and are not allowed to see, to payment processing companies, which is stupid. What right do they have? They don't represent us. They don't have any accountability to us. So why should they get to do these sort of things?
Yeah, it's in that regard a lot like credit reporting agencies. Where this is a business that exists just to make life harder for people.
Yeah. Well, we have other, in terms of making life harder on people. The UK put out a age verification law that has just gone into effect, the Online Safety Act. And it's caused all sorts of problems. Pretty much everybody in the UK is now discovering what a VPN is.
Yes. Everyone I've not run into anyone outside of a couple special interest groups and a handful of politicians who still think this is a good idea. Most everyone else is going, wait, I got to do what now? No, that's dumb.
Yeah. For one of the simple ways around it is you just get a VPN and that's it. Suddenly, as long as your ISP doesn't think, as long as the website doesn't think you're in the UK, then you're not covered by the law. So you just get one that's set for, like France or Ireland, the part of Ireland that's not in the UK, that's in the EU. And there you go. Simple as that.
Yep.
Well, they're threatening Wikipedia with nationwide blocking. That's lovely. That's
because Wikipedia is saying we're not going to do this. We are just not.
Yeah, that's going to go well for everybody. Well, they've discovered, because this is once again a haphazard way of enforcing this stupid bullshit because they don't understand a thing about a thing. One of the ways to check and verify your age is by providing a picture of yourself, not necessarily a picture of your ID, just a picture that would establish you are an adult.
Yes. And the way Discord does this, you have to basically do two pictures. You've got to do a mouth open picture and a mouth closed picture. And it turns out that there's a game that will do this for you.
Death Stranding has a photo mode, and Norman Reedus is now, everyone in the UK is now Norman Reedus. Strangely enough, every picture of everyone in the UK online is now Norman Reedus. Everyone. We are all Norman Reedus. All of us together. We are Norman Reedus. I am Norman Reedus. I've seen that episode of Doctor Who. Yeah, Rose. Basically, Death Stranding 2 has a photo mode where you can pose with things and you can get the character to pose in certain ways. And it's so photorealistic that it works. Another one that people have discovered worked. Where is it? This guy. You all know this guy. Let me get this picture up on screen.
Now, while he's doing that, the one I want to know if it works. Not for Discord because it has the open mouth, closed mouth thing. I want someone in the UK, if we have UK listeners, to cut out a picture of Hugh Jackman and Deadpool-like hang it over your face. See if it works.
Andres Sanatos, you know this fella. You've seen him. He has done quite a few pictures of himself for stock photos. And he's done enough of them with similar looking faces that he can smiling or closing his mouth. He's done enough that you just find different pictures of this guy and you send those in and it works. It fucking works. So
Bajaksha? I apologize on the pronunciation. This isn't the channel. I would submit Brian Blessed. His mouth is quite often open. Yeah. I really like the Norman Reedus one.
Yeah.
If they update it to also require audio, of course that's not going to stop anyone. I recommend Boondock Saints audio to match Norman Reedus. Yeah. We're sort of like 7-Eleven. We're not always doing business, but we're always open.
So this is also the ones they've had in America. Certain states have required ID requirements for certain websites, and I'm in one of those states. I never have to deal with that because I have a VPN. It's simple, it's easy, it gets around it, and I know it's an additional onus on people to have to do this sort of stuff, but the laws are ineffectual. They're just made to be irritations for you and to
they're there because politicians want to look to their constituents like they're doing something, when in fact it's doing nothing.
But they're solving absolutely nothing. So it's very stupid. It's very stupid right now. We are in a very stupid time. If you are even slightly not stupid, you're doing great. No, you're not. None of us are doing great. Everything sucks. It's all terrible right now. So sorry about that. Dang it. Hold on a second. I am got the freaking the stupid thing not work. Where's my scale filtering? Why is scale filter? You douche machine. I hate you. Stop that. Sorry, I'm dealing with OBS horse shit. There we go. Looks a little bit better. All right, so enough of the Fantastic Four ads. Go see Fantastic Four, damn you. Finally this week,
next week.
There's a lot of there's a new CEO who recently took over at Intel. Where's his name? I always forget his name.
His last name is Tan.
Tan, yeah. What is his full name? It should be listed here somewhere.
Tan.
Lip-Bu Tan, yes. And he's talking about stuff they're planning to do to try to turn around things at Intel. But the one thing that stood out to me is because Intel is falling behind on desktop processing. They are uncompetitive in high-end desktops. So they plan to re-enable hyperthreading.
And the reason we turned off hyperthreading because it was a security issue. It was really hard to secure and was causing lots of hacking to be much more successful than it otherwise would have been.
If you've been following along, the latest iteration of Intel's CPUs, the first gen of the new Core Ultra series, for the first time, they no longer had hyperthreading. Hyperthreading is when a single processing core on a CPU can do two different threads of thought, more or less, for want of a better word, at the same time, simultaneously. Typically, it's called simultaneous multi-threading. Intel's brand name for it is hyperthreading. With the Core series, they got rid of hyperthreading because, number one, it's a vector for attacks. Number two, they were able to come up with speeds comparable to close to what AMD had at the moment without hyperthreading and lowering power usage, which was a real coup. Now, it wasn't super attractive to everybody. They're like, that's it? You're no more performance? We want more performance. So it looks like they're going to wheel back on disabling hyperthreading, and it looks like now for the next generation of Intel CPUs, they're going to bring it back, which going backwards.
Okay, so the only thing I can say about this, now part of it says he's got to have approval on all designs. That feels like very micromanaging of what the CEO should be doing, potentially. But if they've got some way, we've got advanced hyperthreading now, it doesn't have these problems. But they don't say that in this article. I don't think they've got there. It's one of those things where I'm not educated enough in this field to know if you could get there. But it's just like, we're going to do all these things. These are great and powerful things. Please don't let our stock tank any further. That's the subtext.
Yeah, they are doing a lot of fast, quick, loud actions to look like they're doing something, which is what they're super concerned about. But just looking like you're doing something and actually doing something are two different things. Quite frankly, while Intel is not in any danger of going anywhere in terms of desktop superiority and servers, while they're not in any danger of vanishing, they are, in terms of the enthusiast space, they've lost.
Yeah.
If you are using a high-end workstation, you're using Threadripper. If you're using a high-end gaming PC, you're using Ryzen. This generation, once the 14th gen issues popped up, once the 14th to 13th gen degradation issues popped up, that screwed them in terms of high-end performance stuff. Nobody wants to touch their shit now. Even companies who are using those chips as part of their server output, which, because they were powerful chips, they were able to use those for servers, for gaming servers, and it screwed them. So what this all comes down to is these look like they are trying to do some loud and flashy things for the sake of shareholder value. And
it worked for Tesla. Oh wait, no, it didn't.
No, it didn't. We'll see how it bears out, but bringing back hyperthreading does not seem like if they could just can get better performance out of what they have without using hyperthreading. Is if they can do it without hyperthreading, they have one up on AMD. Hyperthreading is not as efficient as just single threads. It can do a lot of stuff. If you do it right, it's going to function, it'll work. But if you're talking straight up efficiency, you're not having to have a scheduler involved. You're not having to, for those two different threads on the same core. And while it will be handing off stuff and handing off duties back and forth, and that will be happening, it's still not having to get around the hyperthread. It's
now. Did you see the bit of really good news in this article?
What's that?
They're finally going to stop calling things lakes.
Oh, that's going to solve everything.
I mean, the next one is called Panther Lake, but after that, it's Clearwater Forest and then Diamond Rapids.
What? You know what the next AMD process is called? Gorgon. AMD's not fucking around.
Okay. So, while I appreciate a good mythological reference as much as the next nerd, I believe we're correct in channel, it's Medusa, but I believe either way,
Medusa.
I appreciate a good mythological reference as much as the next nerd. If it tanks, that is literally a stone around their neck.
I don't think it will, but yeah, they had Picasso, they had Matisse, they've had Renoir, Vermeer, they've had.
Let's not go with Hieronymus Bosch or who did the design for the aliens.
Yeah, Raphael. They've had they've had Phoenix. Now they're going to have Medusa. Let's see the Ryzen. Yeah.
Let's not. H.R. Geiger. Let's not name anything after. Let's not name any computing after H.R. Geiger or Hieronymus Bosch. I just feel that is tempting fate a bit too much.
All right. Well, let's get to your questions. We got a couple this week. Let's see what we've got. Follow-up from last week is our first one. If I can find my questions. Where are they? Here we go. There's a lot here. This is from AMW2663. Clarifying PC specs. All right. Well, let's just sum this up because there's a lot here. Confirmed he had DDR5 4800. That's fine. That's nothing wrong with that. He repasted his cooler. He's using a deep cool closed loop radiator. S270, but he also has installed hardware info, as well as he's got Armory Crate on there, which I don't recommend Armory Crate, but if you have it, fine. That will indicate if his system goes above 60 degrees Celsius, and I'm going to assume that means he's on a Intel system, because AMD system, they go above, they go and they stay above 60 sometimes, but if it's not going above 60, so I'm taking that to mean you're not having an overheating issue. So that pretty much is off. The cooler's probably still working.
Yes.
If it's on and you would tell immediately if the cooler wasn't, and you could see the temperatures, because if the temperatures are in the 90s and the hundreds or even in the 80s, maybe, that's an indicator that your closed loop cooler is having trouble. 80 means it's functioning but clogged. 90 to 100 means it's clogged to the point that there's liquids not going through anymore. You have it under 60, you're fine. At least on an Intel. Now, if you were on an AMD system, those things clock up to 95 degrees Celsius and they just stay there. That's how at least the 7000 series and 9000, that's how they're designed to do. So yeah, I think your cooler is fine. Concern about the motherboard, USB ports seem to have issue with failing the resetting.
And Bluetooth
Bluetooth, but you haven't been able to do a full, the reset didn't work entirely. I'm willing to bet I know you don't want to do it, but if you're already doing a reset, you're probably going to want to do.
Full reinstall is in your future.
I feel like there's something goofed up on that installation that I don't know what's going on with it. But if you reset it and it's still having these problems, wiping it and starting over is the next step. And if that doesn't work, back up your data and whatnot. Well, I mean, if you've already reset it, then the data's already gone. But if you do that and it's still acting up, you're at the point where there is a hardware issue. Pinning down what exactly the hardware issue is, you may be right that it's the motherboard, but it's at that point where you're at the point where it's time to reinstall Windows. I wish there was a better solution than reinstall Windows, but we've been doing this the entire industry for over 30 years, and pretty much if there's something goofy with Windows, the solution is reinstall it, not look for which issue it is.
I'll be honest, and that's in the corporate world, that is basically where they start. Because in the corporate world, they all, unless it is someone basically on Mahogany Row, your CEOs, your very important people who go, no, you can't reimage this machine. It's, you've got this problem, we'll reimage the machine, it'll go away. We'll back up your data, reimage your machine, put your data back. Oh, look, it's gone.
Yeah. If a reimage doesn't work, that's one of the ways. It's a fast way to determine if there's a hardware problem, because if you reimage a machine and it still has issues, there's a hardware problem with it. And at that point, you swap it out with another machine, you take that machine back, you see if you can do anything with it. If nothing else, you send it back to Dell or whoever, or HP, and they fix it and they send you another one. That's how it works these days. But for home users, you need to do a full reinstall is probably your best bet right now. And if it's still having problems, and when I say reinstall, I mean you're going to wipe that C drive, okay? And Mike is right. Back up your data. The best thing to do is when you start the Windows installer, it will give you an option to decide which drive you're going to be on. You can delete the partitions, and you should delete all the partitions you see on that C drive. If you have another drive, like a D drive, leave that one alone. We're just talking the main drive that's for your operating system. Get all the partitions off of there and tell Windows that's where you want to install. It will do a fresh, clean, completely new installation of Windows there. And make sure you have your Windows key, of course, and whatnot. But if it's still having problems after that, let us know, because that's a hardware thing. If you redo the OS and it's still acting up, there's a hardware issue. Okay, this one, there is another one that's a lot. This is from Ragnarok. It does feel like the end of the world, this question. All right, my question is a Wi-Fi buyer's advice. Sorry for the long info. Not sure what infos you need. Fair enough. My parents, both 70, need a new Wi-Fi network for their house. I am their IT support. Their new provider, Salt, I'm not familiar with them, provides the router.
Okay. I looked them up. Unless I'm mistaken, that's Switzerland.
Okay, it's Switzerland. Provides the router, Salt Fiber Box XL. Let me have a look at this thing, because I don't think that's the router. Let's have a look at this. No, it is a router. Yeah, it's optical. Able speed. Oh, yeah, it's a router. Huh? They provide their own router. All right. Well, first of all, that's one of the issues you kind of have to deal with.
Yeah, if they don't have the option for you to bring your own router, that is. And I apologize, I have not had the chance to dig into Salt's policies.
Well, it's not a matter of a policy. It's not a matter of policy. It's a matter of it's a fiber connection to the router. Let me have a look at this box here.
Fiber router?
Yeah, Fiber Box X6. Yeah, it's got a fiber connector on there. Let me have a look at
fiber
this.
in the name, and I just glossed over that.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right here. It's got that's how the internet gets into it. So fiber, this is why I don't like when ISPs combine their interface with your home router. Here's what it looks like, by the way. We'll have a look at it right there. There's the back of it. On the far right, you can but on the far right, you can see the fiber connector. This is a similar problem you have with cable modems that integrate the router into the cable modem into the router. It's not a fiber modem per se, but there is a fiber interface. I forget exactly what it's called. And they have built it into this router. I do know there are ways to get your own fiber interface, and they are not simple. They are not for the average person to do at this point. You pretty much have to take whatever they give you as the interface device. So yeah, that's starting off there. You're kind of stuck with this, unfortunately. Ideas. So yeah, you're stuck with that router. That's what you've got. But, you can set up a mesh network even with this router. And the way of doing that is you're going to have to rely on the other devices instead of having like an AI mesh with like Asus that have their own all built in and everything. You're going to have to use a system of repeaters. Let's see. The Fritz repeater. Let me have a look at that.
They do say that there is apparently, Ethernet connections running through the house to hook up a repeater, for Wi-Fi there, which is good.
Yeah. Let's see. Now, typically a Wi-Fi repeater though doesn't use an Ethernet connection.
Yeah, but where I'm going is that they can hook up. They've got multiple connection options. Is where I'm going. So, sorry.
Well, another thing you can do is you can connect a second router to one of these output connections from the main router and set that as an access point.
Yeah,
that's another way of doing it. So instead of the input, there's usually one connector on any given router from whoever you get, like say Acer or whatnot, or Asus or whatnot. It's got an input connection. If you take one of these output connections, the 1, 2, 3, or 4 that we see on the back of this one, and run it to the input of, say, an Asus router, you can configure an Asus router to take that internet connection and use that as a point to, and then you could use the Asus AI mesh, as a matter of fact, actually. And I use the Asus AI mesh here because I have an older router out there to extend the signal, and I have my main router in here. I like Asus.
I went to the web page. Ragnarok gives us a link for data table, and it's in German, but my browser translates. And I'm going to point out two things about their website. One of which may be a translation thing. First is the link has the word quack in it, and that amuses me. But the second is when I translated it to English, and I go down to the chart, and it says it's listing the features, and normally you'd say yes or no or not applicable, right? This one says, yep.
Well, the one you've mentioned, the Fritz 1200AX, I wouldn't go with that because that number, while it is Wi-Fi 6, anything with the AX after it is Wi-Fi 6, the number tells you how fast it can go. And 1200 is very old. That's early Wi-Fi 6. That's years old at this point. You should be looking at a much that's the limit of speed that device is capable of providing. You should be looking bare minimum 5400 or higher. Whatever device, 5400AX or 6000AX, you should not be getting 1200 because that will limit, especially if you have a fiber connection. You don't want to limit the speed of your home network with a fiber connection. It's wide open. You have a fire hose at that point. You have 10 gig LAN connection. You've got that is a fire hose. So you should not go with the slow one. The Fritz repeaters, what you could easily do is you could get a couple of Asus routers. Let's see what they have right now. Well, those are around 100-ish.
One thing I would note, the parents have a requirement that they don't want anything with ugly antennas.
Okay, no, atrocious. All right.
Those atrocious things with the 3 antennas.
All right, hold on. Well, there is an option for that. They have a model. Let me show you what that is. That's let's see. Where's Asus's website? Dang it! Come on. All right. Let's see. Yeah, you don't want the ones that look like the head of Sauron or anything. Let's see. Networking.
So anything with Republican game.
Mesh router. There you go. Mesh Wi-Fi routers. That's what you're looking at. The Zen Wi-Fi systems. Yeah. Because you have the AI mesh Wi-Fi and whatnot. Zen Wi-Fi BD5. That's what I would recommend. I'll put that over on the screen so you can see it here. Yeah, these for 120 US, 5,000 megabits per second, cover pretty good coverage, 2.4 gig ports on there. Yeah, you can get these and configure them for your purposes, and they will work with what you have right now. You just have to have and they are Wi-Fi 7 as well. So you have, some upgrade room. There you go. That's the words I was thinking. Dual band multi-link, 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. With switch out. Yeah, these are pretty good. They look different than the routers I have, but they have the same technology under the hood. So you don't want the ones that look weird. These look like weird, like little white. These look like air fresheners, I guess. I don't know. Remember those air fresheners? Those books.
Yes.
Yeah.
Given the picture that Ragnarok gave us, that looks like it would be acceptable.
Yeah, that would be probably what I would go with. Their system is very easy to configure. I've had little to no problems with it. It doesn't require a lot of input on the part. I know what I'm doing, and I haven't had to stress myself too much to get it to work. Looks like what they would approve. Yeah. So Zen Wi-Fi BD5. Yeah, those access points. Yeah, that would do that. That's what I'd recommend. All right, let's see who is next. Nicholas, you have any recommendations on used CPUs right now, Intel or AMD? Think about trying to upgrade, but money's tight, and I'm still in an old 4790K. That is from 2013, I believe. 4790K?
Launch date 2014.
Yeah, that was Devil's Canyon. Those were pretty good ones. Those were a pretty good CPU, but they're a little old now.
Discontinued in 2017.
Yeah. I'd like something as modern as possible. I know it's a stress when we're talking about used parts. Okay. If you're looking for used parts that are a deal right now, then Intel 12th Gen are fairly solid. And the reason why I say they're a deal is you can get the motherboards that can handle DDR5. So you have that forward, you have modern RAM you could put into it. They are solid. They're close to the performance of the 13th and 14th gens without the failure rates of the 13th and 14th gens. If you're not concerned with overclocking, then a B550, what is it, B550 or what is it? What the hell is it called? I forget. I should be able to tell because it's under the used board I got for my system for the router. Where is it? Where is this? It is a B660. That's the one. B660 chipset or B760. Is it B760? It might be there too. B760. If you're not concerned, yeah, B760 is an option too. If you're not concerned with overclocking your CPU, and you just want like a regular performer, then B760 will handle a 12th gen. It's B860. It's not 860. Yeah, it's not 860. Yeah, there's a B860. That'll work too. Are those DDR5? I would get whichever one of the chipsets that handle 12th gen that have a DDR5. If you can find those used, you'll probably find a few. What gen was the 4700, 4000 system? It was the 4000s. It was 4th gen. It was 4th gen Intel i-Core system. Yeah, it was 4th gen Intel.
That was a 4th gen i7. I have this page open here.
Yeah. They were good CPUs. They were the best for a while. They were the best gaming CPUs available because they were a slight revision of an earlier version of the 4th gen. They were a slight revision that were geared toward gaming. They ran very fast and they ran very good, but time makes fools of us all. So I like Intel 12th gen. As far as a bargain, if you're looking for if you're not really concerned about anything but a good, fast, usable, modern CPU, you will find bargains for the Intel 12th gen. And you don't have to worry about the degradation because there hasn't so far been anyone who's found 12th gen CPUs having that sort of degradation. And if you're getting like an i7 12th gen as opposed to like an i9 12th gen, an i7 12th gen will probably be fairly stable. Anything without a K on it, if you're not worried about the overclocking, then and you really don't need to worry about the overclocking with those because home overclocking is pretty much dead as it is, unless you're like really crazy about it. Then any of the 12th gen without the K suffix on it are perfectly good. It's 12700, I think. Let me have a look. 12700 CPU. Let's see. i7 12700. Let's see. Used. Buy it now. What do we got? Let's see. 12700. What do we got? Looking for a good looking one that's not crap.
The suffixes on the processors mean things. So it's a
yeah.
Is it a K?
K is unlocked for overclocking. F means no graphics. You can get one of those for about $145, which is a pretty good deal for an i7. Let's see, about 12600 for an i5. 12600K for 110. That's a pretty good deal there too. And those are 10 cores with multi-threading as well. So 10 cores, they're like 6 power cores and 4 efficiency cores. So you have a little bit back and forth. Yeah, I like 12th gen as a deal, not as, like, oh, these are the best ones you could possibly get used. As a deal to get a high performance CPU that'll work really well, that's got a little bit of forward momentum. The trouble is it's a dead end platform. That's the downside of it. Now for
the good thing is it's a massive upgrade off what you have.
True. Yeah, anything will be an upgrade off that. Now, if you look for like a Ryzen 7600, that's looking like about 150 as well, but that's also going to be pretty fast too. Let's see, Ryzen 7600 new. How much do those cost new? I think they're closer to 200 new. Yeah, they're 200, right? 230, 250. Good Lord. Yeah, you can get a used Ryzen 76, a used Ryzen 7600 for 150 is a pretty good deal. So that will put you on a modern platform. What is that? 760. What shit? I forget the damn B670. B650. That's it. Good Lord. It's B650. A B650 motherboard used should be available as well. And let's see, something that isn't parts only.
Should be in the $100 range, I would guess.
Let me look. Yeah, everything's parts only. Brand new. Oh, see, it's parts only. Good God, there's a lot of broken shit. Okay, there's see, parts only. A lot of this is just a ton of broken shit. People not being good with their shit. I got to tell you.
I'm seeing one here for 118. It says brand new, and I'm afraid to click through and go and discover that it's parts only.
Okay, I see a B650M, which is, not, yeah, that's for about 100. You're looking for, let's see, come on. Good God almighty. Yeah, there's a B650 Eagle, $90 pre-owned. That's not bad. B650M, $90. B650 UD AX is also gigabyte. Yeah, so you can, yeah. Hello, Charlie. Yes, Charlie is in the background being silly. What are you doing back there, buddy? Oh, there's Charlie and Hamlet. Hi, boys. Can I help you?
Climb space.
Yeah. They're just that powerful. Look at him. He's that powerful. Behold.
He's about to travel through space and time.
Get off the green screen, you little shit. What are you doing? Boys. Stop fucking with my shit. You already fucked that. I still haven't had a chance to go back there and fix that. You've already fucked it up. Fucking cats, man. So yeah, those are two options. The Intel 12 gen is going to be cheaper, but it is a dead end platform. The Ryzen are going to be a little more expensive, probably about $50 more expensive to whatever you were planning on getting before, but you will have some upgrade path. You will be able to put better processor in there later, depending. And going with a Ryzen 7600 from what you're at right now will be an amazing upgrade. Just 150 for Ryzen 7600, huge upgrade over what you have right now. So that. Okay, last question. This is from Erica. Yeah, this month Xfinity told me I used 75% of my data for the month of July, which I've never done before. I have no idea what I did differently in July than any other month. Is there ways to track data usage? I'm leery of trusting sites that do it for you. Can you recommend any I can use or other ways to track my data usage. Thank you, Erica. Okay. First of all, now don't be worried. Now I know you want to know why it's happening, and we'll get to that, but you shouldn't have to worry about it because Comcast has ended their data caps. They're not going to charge you an overage for it. However, that much extra data usage, that would concern me out of nowhere. There are a couple of ways to monitor your data usage. One would depend on what router you have. And this is the most reliable way I found it, is doing it via router logging, because you can do it individually per device, but that's only going to give you how much that particular device is using. The better way of doing it is by your own router, because then you can tell how much data you're getting over all of your devices that are connected to the router. And if something is connecting to your router that shouldn't be connecting to your router, like someone is in your neighborhood using your Wi-Fi or some shit, then you'll be able to figure out which one is doing it. You'll get an IP address to find out which device is causing it. I've got a pretty good one on my, let me see if I can pull up my ASUS one and show you.
It would also be an indication that it's time to change your router password.
Yes, let's see. Wire network, see. Network. Damn it, where is it? Traffic analyzer. There it is. Yeah, I'll put this over here where you can see it. This, for example, is what mine looks like. And I'm going to have to be careful with this because I don't want you to see my MAC address. No, look at my MAC address. Actually, I can't. Yeah, all right. Let me see if I can make a screenshot of this instead of this, because I don't want you to see my MAC address. So let me let's see. Snipping tool. Do this on the fly here. Okay. There. And see, because I got a draw thing on it. Yeah, there's a draw thing on it. All right, draw that. So that's black. And yeah, I'll just scribble over the MAC address because you don't need to see that. Come here. Scribble. The reason why I'm scribbling over MAC address is you never want people to see what your MAC address is. That is a way they can spoof your device and other nasty shit they can do. Never let anyone see your device's MAC address. That's for you and you only. All right. And your router has a MAC address. Your modem has a MAC address, all that. Okay. So let's get this off screen here. And here we go. This is from a screenshot from my ASUS router that shows generally what is using what data. And as you can see here, the main one, what I call Astromech, that uses the most of the data. Gonk is the media server out there. The other one, desktop GTR 78D7, that is, I believe, Sarah's, and she's using very little compared to me. However, her phone uses more than me. That Pixel 7 uses quite a bit. That's her phone. Pixel 7a, that's mine. But in any event, this is what, this will give you a summation of, you can usually find this somewhere in your router, network analyzer, network logging, that sort of thing. It will give you an idea of what devices on your network are using what amount of data. And you can break this down even further. It will show you more of that. If you can't do this, or your router's not capable enough to do this, or you have, say, well, Kel, you're in chat. Yeah, you're Kel's. What router model do you have? Do you have one that's an ASUS router, or do you have one from your ISP, or what? Now, if you can do it for individual devices, which is kind of a stopgap. It's not the best, but it will work. Let me see here. I found this software. It's free. Put it over here. You can see it. It's called Net Traffic. And it is a comprehensive look at one. Oh, you have one from Xfinity. You might not have network logging in there. You might have to look in there and see. but you might not have network logging. This will work on a computer.
One thing I'll note is, just to toss this in there, internet companies are often quite wrong about data usage.
Yeah, sometimes they fuck that up a lot.
They say you're over limits, and when you're not, and it's not even you.
Anyway, this net traffic software, you can find it at venea.net. You see that on the screen there, hopefully. It's free. The license is free. It's lightweight. It will keep a log. It will look at your history of your data usage. It can look at Windows. Windows, if you didn't know this, keeps logs of all of your data usage. This can help read that information and make sense of it for you, because trying to dig down to find that data is a pain in the butt. And it will set out graphs or just straight up data logged per day. But again, this only works on the device it's installed in. It's a less accurate way of doing it. So unless, this won't, for example, work for your TV set or your Xbox or your cell phone, because it can't run the software and they don't keep track of that stuff. The most reliable way to do it is from your router. You don't have one that could probably do the trick, because you have one of those combo routers, which I know they give them to you, and I know not everybody has money to get something better, but the reason they give them to you is they're garbage. So, yay. Sorry. But at the very least, you can track it on your own PC. That's the best you can do if you can't do it from the router itself. Again, because you can track the data with this method. You can track the data usage on your devices, but if somebody else is connecting to your device from somewhere, you can't track it. So like Mike said, right now, it's probably a good idea to change your network passwords. Your Wi-Fi password. It's probably a good idea to update that, just to be on the safe side, because one of the ways that your data usage can spike is if somebody figures out your Wi-Fi password and connects to your network and starts doing horrible shit with your internet connection. So, that's probably something you should do regardless, is to regularly update that, as much as you possibly can. DJ related this combo device's stupid reboot issues last Sunday. Just as I know, again, I'm going to point out, not everybody is made of money. I know that. But when possible, you should get your own router and your own modem. You should own those devices. It will probably cost you bare minimum something like $200 to $250 to own your own devices. But you will never have to pay a rental fee to your ISP ever the fuck again. And over the course of the life of your device, you have paid more than that device is worth, I guarantee you. And also, you will have more granular control over your devices. You will know, for example, you can log your data usage so you know how much. Yeah. How bad is picking up a used router modem from a thrift store? Very bad, Butterball. Don't do that. eBay is probably a better option on that one, because at least you have buyer protection on that one. What brand would I recommend?
We've generally gone with Asus.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to, you can still kind of use just the modem function of that modem router combo. But if you don't, a used Motorola Surfboard, so long as the MAC address is clean, and they do sell those. There's some, let's see, which model would I recommend? Let's see, 8200. Yeah, Surfboard 8200. SB 8200 is still a very modern, that's the one I'm using right now. Modem. Yeah, let's see. Do we have one? SB 8200. Those are parts only. No parts only. Go away. Fuck you. Condition. Where's condition? Overbox. See, DOCSIS 3.1. Let's see, refurbished. Let's see, used. There we go. And see if I can find a price on one of those. Oh, hell. No power supply. That's fine. Oh, there are some of these. Good Lord. Wow. Some of these are as cheap as $30 to $50 for an SB 8200. That's a good price on those. Yeah. So, an Aris, ARRIS. I'll type it in the channel. ARRIS SB 8200 is a good modem model to have. For a router, affordable one right now. Let's see. Because I know you're not made of money. You have to make, figure out, get what you can afford. I understand that. Let's see. What's a good one? Oh, this is actually all right. This is cool. This is cool. Best Buy is doing this thing right now, and I think they're still doing it. Where if you take them an old router, they will give you a coupon off new networking stuff. And let me see if I can find this. I'll find the information on it. And you saying, well, what do you mean router? Best Buy network.
Well, their recycle and save section.
Yeah, recycle and save.
Get 15% off a new modem, router, or modem router combo. And Geek Squad home Wi-Fi setup service when you bring in any of these devices for recycling.
Yeah, well, you don't have to do that, but you can get. So if you have a busted ass broken router that's like 20 years old, they'll take that shit and they'll give you 15% off a new router. You can go down to fucking Goodwill and find a janky ass, broken ass fucking router in those big bins and shit, and take that shit to Best Buy, and they'll give you 15% off a new one. So that's, they don't care. So yeah, there's, what was the one I was looking at? A brand new one. It's okay. It's a pretty good one. Asus BE 3600, RTBE 3600. Oh, that one's actually on sale till the 28th. All right, so that's $140. I'm trying to find something a little bit under that price. Let's see, what can you find? A little bit lower than that, maybe. Let's see. Well, I mean, it's a little more expensive, but I've had good experience with it. It's a little older, it's a little more expensive, but I've had a good experience with the AX82U. It's a pretty good router. That's the wrong button. That is completely the wrong button. Why did I do that? That's Mike, you're looking lonely there.
Yeah, I'm using an RTAX88U from Asus, which
this is AX82U. This is 160. It's a bit, but if you take 15% off that, that's $16. So that brings it down a little bit.
That looks like one of Aquaman's villains.
It does, yeah. It looks like Black Manta. I know it does, but it works. But yeah, they'll take whatever damn router you want, or a modem. You can take a busted ass modem, busted ass old network. It doesn't even have to work. Just take it to them. They'll give you 15% off. I did that a while back. It was good. So yeah, it's that's what I'd recommend. I like the Asus stuff. The interface is very good. I've had pretty good experience with it. Nothing's ever broken on me except once. And that's because I pretty much wore it the hell out. I used that damn thing for like 7-8 years and it wore out. So I had to get a replacement.
I had one router, the little tiny piece of plastic on the inside that held the power button in place, broke. I'm like, I don't even use you. You were not a stress point. Why did you break?
But anyway, if you want to track your data usage, that's called net traffic. You can find it on venea.net, venea.net. It's free, freeware license. That will do what you need to do, but it's always better to track it at the router. And whatever you do, change your router password, because just on the safe side, someone is not piggybacking off your internet, which could be account for data usage spike. So, all right, that is going to do it for us for this week. We'll be back next Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern. If you have tech questions for Mike and myself, you can send those to requests@radiodeadair.com. We will try to help you out with it. Meanwhile, we'll be back next week. We'll see you then. Good night, everybody.